It's so funny, really is, in a not a rich man's world. Aha, aha. It's so funny, in a rich man's world. Money, 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 it's so funny. ATI News. Money, 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 it's so funny. In a rich man's world. Yeah, in a rich man's world. Money, money, money. Oh, it's so funny with the TNT, bitch. Money, money, money. It's so funny when you get the fake TI. Whatever. Oh, it's so funny. It is so funny when you know what's going on. It's so funny when you know what's going on. Hey, look, this is Deep State. Come on. What's the point of getting upset? Come on now. Don't be children. Oh, I forgot you are. He said, she said. It's like being at bloody school. He said, I can't speak now. He said, she said. Bloody hell. Right. I have evidence of my main internet rebooted. I was printing out a document earlier because they're deliberately triggering me. And it showed from my Wi-Fi printer that my Wi-Fi password's been changed. The router in itself has been changed. The main internet connections changed by 2 different IPs. So hello, trolls. Hello, Big Brother spies. Unlawfully hacking, controlling this main internet connection. You will what? You will what? Right. I'm looking for a certain this bitch. If I find it, calls me a bitch, I'll call her a bitch. A year ago, she was harassing this woman. So yeah, she ordered my Kool-Aid. Don't drown, girl. Don't drown. I'm trying to get into it, girl. Anyway, so she extremely animated. You can call it what? I'm gonna call it animated. So she's like the squid, and then everybody is the testicles. I had to go put on because I was upset. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's hot. I need to turn the AC on. So the squid and everybody are little tentacles. The tentacles, they're the tentacles, and then there's this one big quantum thing. Like, okay, whatever. So she said she was after targeted individuals in one of her videos. I'm like, are you targeted or not? Like, girl, you ain't not ET for what? ET didn't do nothing to you. Like, now she coming on and talking about the aliens. The aliens didn't do nothing to y'all people. If anything,
They're
aliens brought y'all the
hacking
truth.
you, weren't they?
Girl, please. Please. Girl, stop. Anyway, so she said these are impacts sent to build heaven. Now, if these people sent to build heaven, means they sent to build earth too, because God said let it be on earth as it is in heaven. Okay? So she's talking about we learning so much. I don't know where she learning from. Who you learning from? Who you learning from? Because you said you was teaching everybody all this stuff. I mean, we observing, that's great. But why people want to come up on here and start bragging about just teaching people stuff? Like, I'm teaching you this. I'm always kind of people who are just like so interested in saying, I'm the one teaching you. I'm the last person I'll be like, that's crazy. That girl got demonically possessed soon as Nicki Minaj came on. She looked like she needed you, girl. But she needed an exorcism. Now, this lady right here, she looked like she didn't been demonically possessed before. I'm sorry. I just gotta be real, because y'all be trying to come after me on the side. And I play basketball. You know what I'm saying? And I play other sports too. So I know when somebody's trying to get out the sideline, you gotta bounce. Now, so she was talking about she's after me. She's after me. Young Phil, Candy Grand Prix, targeting the individual, and some other people out there. Yeah. How much is on my head? Huh? How much is on my head? Because you can't count all these hairs, boo. Anyway, but God can. Huh? God can count all these hairs on my head. He know the number. So what you got on my head, huh? Who y'all out trying to come for me? Huh? I ain't send you. God didn't send you. Now let's talk about this squid and these testicles she's talking about. Look, it's as simple as this. These people, she's like, y'all people being gay stalkers are so stupid. Like, oh my God, y'all are pathetic. It's literally just a demonic entity that's after you. Yeah, I'm about to get. If you don't like to be it, don't watch it. Okay, it's literally a demonic, and it's just demonic forces after you. Look, a gang is a gang. What type of demonic forces are there after you? Okay, if it's a group of people, then that's a gang. It's not just a demonic entity. God knows there's names for these demons. Okay. There's types of demons, okay? And these are lost, soulless people. They are, let's explain the squid effect a little bit deeper. I'm going to try not to be rude. No offense, okay? You're just catching me in a therapy session right now. Like, that's a cigarette smoke right there, but I'm not smoking no cigarettes. Now, look. It's just a vessel. These people are open vessels, and they're able to be used. Just like God uses good people. I've said this before. God uses bad people. Have you ever watched the movie Fallen? Okay, yeah. Fallen is the movie with Denzel Washington in it, and basically it just shows this demonic spirit jumping into people and blah, 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 jumping from one person to the next person. And Denzel had to literally die in order to get full crap. Anyway, but that's how they wanted the movie to end, because they always got to have a spring type ending. You know what I'm saying? So this lady's just talking about,
No idea if it's on YouTube. Yes, I've seen that. Excellent movie. We are possessed. Yeah, good movie. I like the old movies actually. Really old Chris. I wonder if I'm subscribed to him. So yeah, I am. Really good old movies. It's ridiculous 'cause they draw me into to their stupid activities. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things going on in the world, and there's more important things. Seeing they've been doing the one stuff. Time has run out. Collapse is happening, that's for sure. What's happening in Europe? Huge hailstorms. It's a weather manipulation. Oh, this is good. Pass cipher questions is good. Yeah, times are changing. Better catch up, see if I've missed anything. Wow, I thought as much. As the full moon coming up. Oh look, what's happened to the Queen?
Queen has postponed the Privy Council meeting due to take place today after her doctors ordered her arrest. The advice came following a full day of prime ministerial appointments and resignations at Balmoral Castle, where the Queen is residing over Sunday. Today's proceedings would have seen the new Prime Minister Liz Truss take her oath as First Lord of the Treasury and new cabinet ministers sworn into their roles. The 96-year-old monarch has been suffering from ongoing mobility issues. The latest advice does not involve a hospital stay.
Why would they certainly want to do that? And they're all saying the same. Are they preparing for something that the London Bridge is falling down and something's happened to the Queen? Potentially. See? Sky News.
Well, this message is for parents who don't have life insurance. You know, for as little as £2.50 a week.
Let's just return to the breaking news just a short time ago. That is, that the Queen has postponed her Privy Council meeting this evening after being advised by doctors to rest. Our royal correspondent, Rhiannon Mills, joins us now on the phone. Good evening, Rhiannon. What else is the palace saying about this?
So it has to be said, it is unusual when it comes to the Queen's health for the palace to unnecessarily tell us things that they don't feel that they have to. But I think because we had anticipated that this Privy Council meeting was going to take place today, albeit virtually, they've decided that because it therefore wouldn't appear in the court circular tomorrow, they have had to tell us that the doctors up at Balmoral have told the Queen to rest. Now, of course, that comes after we saw the Queen yesterday for the first time in a number of weeks, as she very clearly told her advisors, told Number 10, that she still wanted to carry out an important transition of power between one Prime Minister and the next, and albeit she couldn't travel herself down to London, but all of the necessary arrangements were made so that her 14th Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, could travel up to Scotland to hand in his resignation, and then her 15th Prime Minister, Liz Truss, could then be appointed at the for the first time that has happened outside of London. Now, just to read to you the statement that we've had from the palace in full, it says that after a full day yesterday, Her Majesty has this afternoon accepted doctors' advice to rest. This means that the Privy Council meeting that had been due to take place this evening will be rearranged. Now, as we can anticipate, we've been in this situation before. There have been concerns about the Queen's health. The palace are not going to necessarily give us any more details. However, I do understand that the Queen is still at Balmoral, where we know that she's been enjoying her summer break, and there's no hospitals involved. She hasn't been transferred anywhere, so she is still very much at Balmoral Castle. We know that she was very comfortable. She enjoyed spending time there, and we know that certainly over the last few weeks she has had her family around her. In terms of this Privy Council meeting, what's it all about? Did it have to happen today? Well, in the past it has been delayed after a Prime Minister has been appointed. In essence, what normally happens at that Privy Council meeting is that Liz Truss would take her formal oath as First Lord of the Treasury, and also new members of the Cabinet would also be given their seals of office. There would be, as they describe, kissing of hands. That obviously wouldn't have happened because it was all going to happen virtually. But we're told in terms of
it's different.
Government, then the fact that this Privy Council meeting isn't happening this evening, that's not going to cause any problems. But I think, yeah,
it's more in height.
Have felt that they have had to tell us once again that the Queen has been advised to rest by her doctors, and I think in essence that's because otherwise alarm bells may have started ringing. People would have started asking questions if that Privy Council meeting had not appeared in the court circular.
Look at the height. She's much taller than her. Look at that height.
Meetings postponed or events cancelled. I guess that is to be expected. The Queen is, after all, a woman of 96 years old.
Do you know what, Mark? I think certainly over the last 12 months, there has been what I would say a change in terms of what the Queen has been able to carry out. I was thinking back to 12 months ago, where I was told very clearly, 12 months ago, the Queen was looking forward to the autumn. It was the end of September. She was planting a tree with the Prince of Wales. She then opened the Scottish Parliament. She opened the Welsh Parliament. She carried out a big business summit at Windsor Castle. And then it was October last year, you might remember, that she was advised to cancel a trip to Northern Ireland. And it was only subsequently after that we found out that she'd been taken to hospital to have some tests. We were told that we shouldn't be overly concerned about that. But of course, it's going to set some alarm bells ringing. And I think there has, some people would say, been what appears to be, some would say, a deterioration
These are
in her
old
health, certainly in her mobility
pictures and stuff.
ability to get around.
Not
Also, I
new.
think what we've been seeing, and it certainly was the case yesterday, is that there is definitely
Princess
now
Anne's a sister.
within the palace, within the family, that actually we now all need to just get used to the fact that there are some things that she is just not going to be able to do. And for me, why that is interesting is because certainly over the last 5 years ago, it was.
She's not really walking with a walking stick that much
It was
there.
difficult to talk about
in
change
July.
or a handing over. Now, I think we just have to get used to it. And certainly, you talk to constitutional experts, for example, and they would have said, actually, yesterday she didn't necessarily have to do that handover of power between the prime ministers. We saw that actually it was the Prince of Wales and the Duke of Cambridge who stepped in for her as Councillor of State when it came to the state opening of Parliament. Again, those mechanisms could have been put in place. So I think what you have got is you've got a 96-year-old monarch who, in her mind, has no intention of resigning, stepping down, as it were. And when she can do those duties, she has to do them. However, I think like anyone who's in their 90s, in their family, they will realise that when they do things like yesterday, and yeah, despite the fact that it was still at Balmoral, it probably did as we're now seeing,
Looks like a
took it out
different
of her.
individual. That
Things
just,
do take longer to recover from, and that ultimately is what we're seeing. We saw it over the Platinum Jubilee weekend. On the Thursday, we saw.
okay.
Queen has postponed the Privy Council meeting due to take place today after a doctor's ordered her to rest. The advice came following a full day of prime ministerial appointments, resignations and now.
Interesting. So always one watching, isn't there? They're repeating the same information. News item. Now, this individual's a TR, but she doesn't know it.
19, they'd already been violently mugging elderly people, only to be put up in my accommodation with me, where I have been violently. I tell you what, anyone out there who does actually care. My mother was dying of cancer when I was in supported accommodation, and she was angry that this is under a social worker landlord. She was angry that an elderly man with a learning difficulty was harassing me. Can you imagine how my 84-year-old mother would react, knowing that my life has been put in danger in these places, and that Steve Churchill from the food bank, as you can see on my YouTube channel, he left me in tears. So I've got these idiots from police abusing powers, including Dan, telling me to leave my partner, who was arrested the other day. I'm in his friend's flat as a place of safety. Tina J from the Independent Advice Network was meant to help me, you idiots. I am fuming, angry. I am absolutely boiling over. Because I've just rung my partner. I've got a poor internet connection. I've just rung my partner in a state of panic. Because I don't want it to
That's
rip
dangerous by the light.
laptop, but there is a leak from the ceiling. I've just rung my partner in a state of panic. The lady who owns this flat lives in Nigeria. Darren, if you're watching this, you better tell Eben about Sherelle Clark being in the local news. Okay? I will contact DC Kamara about this. I'm sick to death of it. I'm sick to damn death of it. I shouldn't be in this position. No one should. No one should. You're telling me Eben knows about the leak, but I'm not supposed to be sleeping in her bed. I bought this bedding.
They cut her off. It's a TI. And they cut her off. She's traumatized by these people.
I just want to play this recording, just to reiterate
I'm just reading this, hearing about it, listening to that recording. Got a recording. I wanted to upload a recording online of what the court said regarding this evil Sherelle Clark who's made the BBC News. This just goes to amplify. This is what gives me leverage. It just was to record antisocial behaviour where I've been attacked several times. One of Sherelle Clark's friends, when I first moved in there, I thought they'd do when you get in trouble with the police, drug dealing, or whatever you're doing, and they make a deal. So you either get sent down or you either probation, depending on the character, your soul might be possessing you. Say, well, if you just do this job for us, and we can keep you out of prison, and we'll keep supplying you with some things, but you have to do it discreetly. The next you know, they turn into a trained gang stalker. So what she's talking about, people being placed in these temporary placements, accommodation, is so spot on in England. It's all over the place. And a lot of immigrants now are taking over these hotels as well. So other people do a lot more stuff on that. So yeah, so you've got legit ordinary everyday people like her and me and others out there, or you're on the dark side of life. Yeah, I used to try and help her ages ago, before, because what I was going through. So much drama going on. No, they're still doing that. They're doing another rocket launch, are they? Are they expecting a comet to hit Earth? Wow. In fact, the royal family children go to first school. I think he could be the next king, actually, in a succession, perhaps.
Well, this message is for parents who don't have life insurance. You know, for as little as £2 a week.
Private education. You can see the way they dress. She's very tall, isn't she? Purple at number 7. Gang stalker. 20 past 11. She's very slim, isn't she? For having 3 children. I do believe that if ever happens to the Queen of England, Prince Charles might be a temporary king or something, but perhaps he might just pass the crown down to him. Because I've noticed for a while they've been like grooming him into that position with his wife and their children. It's just the whole body language thing. Might be wrong, but I just have that gut feeling. See, private school. Watch handshake. See how it's a private school. They have bodyguards around them. That's the Freemason handshake. Even for her. Go back on that. Watch. She's taught well. I didn't notice the other hands. Let's watch. Go back and watch the hands. Handshake. Yeah. The little boy wouldn't know yet. She has. They've been taught. Bless him. Look at her. Him, not her. Shape-shifting base. Look at that. I'm not very good at doing shape-shifting bases. Let's go back on that. I'm gonna go back on the hands. Look at his hands. Right. It definitely looks like a shape-shifting reptile. His hands, definitely. This man. Oh wow, that does. Children know and sense. Sucker's rubbing his arms together. I'm going to make a lot of money out of these children going to the school. Mhm. You don't seem to be interested. Bless his heart. I don't know what he's called. Is it George? This one. He's sticking his tongue out. Is he bored when he does that? That's weird. George sticking his tongue. Wonder we know he's doing it. Again. They're expensive. Looks like it. Oh, right. Girls' boarding school. Is it a boarding school? For girls and boys? Or they you just thought they get home education being the war family. Interesting. Maybe not for others. Yeah, this is a good one. I had TV news about the cost of energy in England.
A.m. Downing Street, where Liz Truss was waking up in a new home. If she got any sleep, that is. What with that new job? These noisy neighbours. And guests turning up first thing. There was a grin and a bow from Prime Minister Theresa Coffey, who had just done a media round that suggested she isn't your typical Tory MP.
You got a phone ring. Are you okay? Yeah.
I've just realised my alarm is going off on my phone.
Oh my goodness, what is the alarm
You're getting a bit Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre. I hear the new Chancellor, Kwasi Kwarteng, is more into classical music. His arrival alongside that of Home Secretary and James Cleverly at the Foreign Office marks a remarkably diverse cabinet, with, for the first time ever, no white man in the top board jobs, although they did okay too. Here's the new cabinet, turning immediately to soaring energy costs. For Liz Truss, this crisis is the lens through which her early premiership will be judged, and so no surprise that it dominated her first Prime Minister's questions, which, unusually, started with the PM answering a question.
When she said in her leadership campaign that she was against windfall taxes, did she mean it?
I am against a windfall tax. I believe it is the wrong thing.
That's the wrong woman to have next to her. Definitely.
To be putting companies off investing in the United Kingdom just when we need to be growing the economy.
And so we have a big political divide on the question of who will pay for a massive intervention on energy bills expected tomorrow, with the government to opt for more borrowing.
Can't she see there's nothing new about a Tory Prime Minister who, when asked who pays, it's you, the working people of Britain.
There's nothing new about a Labour leader who is calling for more tax rises.
Then this from a former PM.
Can I ask my right honourable friend, why does she think it is that all three female prime ministers have been conservative?
It is quite extraordinary, isn't it, that there doesn't seem to be the ability in the Labour Party to find a female leader, a leader who doesn't come from North London.
It was a joke that even got a smile from him, and a performance overall praised by this MP who had supported Rishi Sunak.
It was confident, it was clear. I think she definitely bested Keir Starmer. So her first outing, she won that encounter.
It was a much quieter day for others.
It is a pleasure to contribute to this debate, from a few rows further back than I had originally anticipated.
Rishi Sunak on the back fence. He'll definitely have an opinion tomorrow when Liz Truss is expected to reveal a £2,500 freeze on typical energy bills, costing over £100 billion. One expert says the policy might be needed, but isn't necessarily fair.
More of the money that this costs the government will go to the richer half of the income distribution than will go to the poorer half, because whilst poorer people spend a bigger fraction of their budget on energy, richer people spend more. It is not a terribly well targeted policy.
There will still be additional payments for the poorest on benefits this winter already announced, but ITV News understands that there are not plans for additional targeted support now.
Wow. I knew it. She has got the new UK Prime Minister. She has got ties with Shell Energy companies. She used to be the board, one of the boards of the company. I can sense there's going to be some unrest of some sort. So that is just catching up. Time run out. At that 20, excuse me, at that 2030. Well, that's I'm being banned on here anyway. Just a minute. I hear that my computer again. Right, so let's have a look about the energy. Rockefeller, the racketeering, it's always picking up that. So, Mind control. Yeah, military adoptions, my labs, trauma-based, electronic-based mind control, experimentation. Project Monarch. EMF, ELF waves. The books reference a print of Illuminati on the mind control. Wow. Okay, this is important. I'm trying to share this part. Even though I know to get to see this because I shut it on. So what have we got here? Fascist totalitarian designed to enslave us all should be of the three main freedoms: national ID, smart cards, and will contain your entire medical, financial history, DNA information, etc. and will be required to engage in any sort of non-custodial activity like getting on a plane or even going on state-to-state after military board guards become a common theme in this once freedom land. Spend your cash now while you still have cash, because soon all financial transactions will conduct using plastic cards. It's more digital now. Just like the Nazi Germany, our people be encouraged to report any suspicious activity on their neighbours. That's what they do with the gang stalking anyway. In fact, life in USA will soon become a carbon copy Nazi Germany, as like in the 1930s, just like more high tech and much more lethal. Now this is worldwide, really. Right, Al Buck had revealed a great deal of prime information on government secret mind control capabilities and plans in 2022. Are you ready to leave your Warren nightmare, Big Brother? Okay. Let's see the video works. Oh look, they're blocking it. I wonder. Let's see if there's any audio. Project Superman. It's not shoot program on the project, Monarch project, a trauma-based mind control, similar to Kathy O'Brien's described in her autobiography book. Andy claims to have been created through the combination of genetic manipulation, trauma-based mind control, and saliva mind control training, results in superhuman PATS Pasasonic abilities. In addition to this, PERO alleged to have been unwittingly used in covert assassinations, such as Manchurian Candidate, and also in missions connected to the Monarch project, such as time travel. So it's claimed he was created and manipulated his genetics. It goes on, he went public with a story in 1998 with a special guest, Preston Nicholson, while a lecture series hosted by the Bob of Philadelphia, PA. I was astounded with the anti-testimony that I interviewed him personally, so that his story could be shared with readers of Unknown magazine. For those who are unfamiliar, I had worked for 10 years investigating, consulting UFO experts, abductees, occasionally survivors of various forms of anomalous and trauma, such as ritual abuse and mind control. Because of my background in alien abductions phenomena, the occult and trauma, I recognise Andrew as a extraordinary survivor of trauma-based mind control, and whose story should not remain hidden. So Andrew was born in Nevada in 1969. His father was a lieutenant commander at the Navy base at the time. He believes that his first experiences began by the time he was 2.5 years old. At 5 years old, his family lived in Munich, Germany. I remember attending 2 kindergarten classes in Germany. That was located near the army base. I have flashback memories of torture sessions as early as 2, where I was subjected to shock treatments and needles into my ears and genitalia, where they control handlers do use extreme trauma to separate the mind from the body. They do this to split the mind into 2 halves that can later be programmed to do things like Superman fears. Basically, they document all the non-human brain impulses, emotions, or whatever is normally present, then program in new ones. They do this, remove all fear, so that when they program in new abilities, you will have the instructional, but I'm afraid, response they program you to do and not think. It's, in essence, they treat and program your mind as if it was a computer. Who are people running these secret programs like the Monarch and Monarch projects? And what do they conduct in the activities? Our own government, one of the handlers who tried to brainwash me into believing that he was my father. He was basically a Nazi. I nicknamed him Mafia because he's very alien looking. After World War II, many Nazi scientists were brought over to US through over intelligence community, who formerly worked in mind control research in the concentration camps. I believe there are retainment of the Nazi Party working in conjunction with the different branches of the US military. Much of the training and torture sessions were done in the University of Rochester, New York. They need to take me to a private room and then to the attic or floor of the library. The big lab is where I had most of my programming to be done. The Rome National Air Base in Rome. I have also been used in Monic chair with the Camp Hero Monic I, and also the chair in Atlantic CA and Air Force Base. The Monic facility located in Camp Hero LI was reopened to Department of Navy and is active into this day. Basically, they are underground bases and located across the country. Each one has a different function and speciality. There are facilities in Washington, New York, and goes into Atlanta and various other locations. In where they do the sex program, many of the female agents form most of the part, 99%. Then involuntary sex agents, couriers, who were used in various mind control projects. So this is quite audio document acceptable. I just thought there might be an audio. This might, don't know, this will open, so. Let's have a look. I might find an audio in my feed somewhere. Playlist. I don't think so. Let's have a look. Okay. Will an asteroid hit Earth between 2020 and 2025? Ancient calendars. I'm trying to make sense of this period of biblical times. Stars fall, burn, stone, flood. There's year timelines showing end roughly 2023. Little country of Israel, victory. Generation will not pass. 70 years, 77. Something fragments of Bible prophecies past 2,600 years indicate an asteroid might hit Earth, ending life as we know it, between the year 2020 and 2025. This is intensive research the author of this website's done. For 30 years, began publishing in 2011. It's not their intention to continue the research after the year 2025. Bible doesn't tell us about the asteroid. It's given clues about where it will hit and when. So it's given the astronomy charts, winter solstice, spring, summer solstice, equinox, position of the star Bible. A red star will cast a stone on Earth. There is an encoded timeline, basic countdown to the asteroid impact in the Bible that this author explains in less than 30 minutes in the video.
Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to go over the complete Bible timeline, primarily for anyone who doesn't speak English. Just so you know, my videos now have subtitles in 12 languages. If you're interested in that, you can click on the gear icon in the lower right corner of this video to find the language that you want, and then click on the CC. So we're going to move from left to right, top to bottom. The first event in the top left corner is the head of the image, as explained in Daniel chapter 2, verses 32 and 38. That is also the lion, Daniel 7:4. Under that, it says Babylon, which Daniel 2 and 7 explain is the lion and head. Daniel 2:37 and 38 says Nebuchadnezzar is the head, and Nebuchadnezzar became king of Babylon in 605 BC. Babylon is the mouth, as explained in Revelation 13 verse 2, and is also the first king, as explained in Revelation 17:10. Next, the chest of the image explained in Daniel 2:32 and 39.
T-Storm, Donovan shoulders.
Is the second beast in Daniel 7:5, and it's also the ram explained.
Next, you already got one person to rage quit, and she makes Donovan shoulders rage quit. He left the panel. He couldn't hack TNT Storm. Donovan shoulders couldn't even hack TNT Storm. He rage quit on her.
Read it over to YouTube.
Came to power in 550 BC. Next, we have the belly, as explained in Daniel 2 verses 32 and 39, and that is also the leopard in Daniel 7:6, and the goat of Daniel 8 verses 5 and 21. That was the Greek Empire and the first king, Alexander the Great, as explained in Daniel 8:21. That was also the third king of Revelation 17:10. Daniel 8:22 explains that Alexander's kingdom was split into 4 sections, the 4 heads of the leopard. The first was the Seleucid Empire, which included modern-day Syria. The second was Antigonid Macedon, which is modern-day Greece. The third was the Ptolemaic dynasty, which is modern-day Egypt. And the fourth was Attalid Anatolia in modern-day Turkey. The Greek Empire under Alexander the Great came into power from 336 to 330 BC. You'll notice this section right here says, in latter time of their kingdom. That refers to Daniel 8 verses 21 through 25, which says that in the latter time of the 4 kingdoms, when the transgressors come to the full, a king of fierce countenance will rise up and by peace destroy many. The latter time of those 4 kingdoms occurred at the end of the Turkish Empire, which reigned from 1299 CE.
Real look at the solar system here, guys.
We'll look at that in a minute. Next,
If y'all remember my video, so I went to quarter 1. I'm trying to keep the res kind of low for people with cell phones. And then I found
that is the terrible beast in Daniel 7.
stupid enough here. Who's stupid enough here?
We know that was the Roman Empire, which came to power in 27 BC after the Greek Empire. However, I don't have that specific year on here. The green box at the bottom says 70 CE, Jerusalem temple destroyed, first watch. That is referenced in Matthew 24:2, the destruction of the temple, Luke 21:20, Jerusalem surrounded by armies, and Luke 12:37 and 38, the first watch on Jesus' timeline. The Roman Empire consisted of 3 heads, the Western Roman Empire, the Eastern Roman Empire, and the Holy Roman Empire. The Western Roman Empire came after the 4 heads of the leopard, so the Western Roman Empire was head 5, as explained in Revelation 13 and 17, and it was also king 4, as explained in Revelation 17:10. The Eastern Roman Empire was head 6, as explained in Revelation 18 and 17,
and it was also king 5, as explained in Revelation 17:10. The Holy Roman Empire was head 7 and 6, as in Revelation 17:10. There are a few different ways to look at this, which we'll discuss in a minute. Below the empire, you'll see a line pointing down to the second green box, which says 65 to 691 CE, Dome of the Rock, second watch. That's a reference to Mark 13, verses 14 through 19, the abomination of desolation that stands where it ought not, and Luke 12:37 and 38, the second watch on Jesus' timeline. Just above that, it says 686 CE, Revelation 12 sign. That's a reference to Revelation 12, verses 1 through 5, which describes a celestial configuration in the sky that occurred both in 686 CE during the building of the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, and also in 2012 during the building of the One World Trade Center in New York City. We'll cover that in a minute. But first, notice there were exactly 1,290 years from 686 BC to 685 CE. And remember, there was no year zero. That's a reference to Daniel 12:11 and also Ezekiel 4:5 and 6 and Numbers 14:34, which gives us the day for a year principle. Under that, it says Daniel 11 verses 1 through 31. That's a very complex timeline that is explained in the Daniel 11 video, which I have not posted subtitles for yet, but will do as soon as I get a chance. The events described in Daniel 11 verses 1 through 31 span from just before the rise of the First Persian Empire until the setting up of the Dome of the Rock in 685 CE. The king of the north at that time was the Roman Empire, and I explained in that video that the dome is a Roman temple. Its measurements match almost exactly the measurements of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which is Roman, and the Muslim religion was created by the Roman Empire. Again, it's a complex study. I'll try to post a translated version of that soon. The cloud that they see at 685, the setting up of the abomination, says flee, and the line after that says 1260 years, Christian Empire, 756 to 2016. That is a reference to Revelation 11:3, Revelation 12:6, and Matthew 24:15 and 16. We're not told the exact date, so 756 to 2016 is only one of many possibilities, and that one is based on a book by a 17th century author named Adam Clarke, which cites the donation of Pepin in 756 as the true start of the Holy Roman Empire. You may notice that there were exactly 70 years between the sign of Revelation 12 in 686 and the donation of Pepin in 756, but I don't have that on this chart, not enough room. Under the Holy Roman Empire, you'll see a black box with white letters that says Pope. That's a reference to 2 Thessalonians 2, 3, and 4, the man of sin who proclaimed himself God in the temple. You'll notice the word translated as temple in that verse means any heathen temple. The Roman Empire finished their temple in Italy in 626, and Pope Leo XIII proclaimed himself to be God in that temple in 1894. The red splatter mark right here says wound, and that is a reference to Revelation 13:3, which says one of the heads of the beast was wounded as they were dead, but that the deadly wound was healed. The Holy Roman Empire was head 7 and king 6, as explained in Revelation 13 and 17:10. The wound was the defeat of the Holy Roman Empire by Napoleon, which occurred between 1806 and 1870. The healing of the wound occurred in two ways. First, the establishment of the League of Nations, which came to power in 1920 under the guise of maintaining peace, and I abbreviated that here as LN. And second, the establishment of Vatican City in 1929, which I don't have listed because it's not one of the heads or kings. The League of Nations was King 7, as explained in Revelation 17:10. And down here, we have 1920, the year it came to power. And you'll notice that was 3 years before the Turkish Empire fell. So the League of Nations was the rise of the King of Fierce Countenance, as explained in Daniel 8, verses 23 through 25. Up here at the top, we have the feet of iron and clay, as described in Daniel 2, verses 33 and 41. Below that, it says 10 horns, which is a reference to Daniel 7, verses 7 and 24. Under that, it says 10 UN world regions. The United Nations separated the world into 10 regions via the Club of Rome. The United Nations is King 8, as explained in Revelation 17, verses 8 through 11. his name for the Revolution star. Revelation chapter 1, verse 9 to 11 says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom, and it says, 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman is, and there are 7 kings are fallen, and then his other is not yet come, and when he comes, he continues a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into position.
Angel
The
cat.
5
Okay, acting on bloody computer. 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 Okay, acting on I'm desperately hacking my computer. So where was I?
This video is not meant to attack anyone or their religion, but instead it's an attempt to find the truth. And in order to find the truth, it's necessary to understand what is not truth and why. The one we're going to focus on in this video is the doctrine concerning Daniel's final week. This one is very important to Christians because they believe it's either about Jesus or the future Antichrist and the end of the world. It's based upon Daniel chapter 9, verses 24 through 27. So first we'll look at what the text actually says. It tells Daniel 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and thy holy city to finish the transgression, make an end of sins, make reconciliation for iniquity, bring in everlasting righteousness, seal up the vision and prophecy, and that here he says there will be a total of 70 weeks until all these things occur, including the end of sins altogether, the sealing of the prophecy, and everlasting righteousness. So this end of 70 weeks would seem to represent the end of the age when the Elohim return, because the end of sins and the bringing in of everlasting righteousness has not occurred yet. Then he says in verse 25, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built and the wall even in troublous times. So 7 weeks and 62, 1 is saying after the commandment to restore, there will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks until Messiah. So 7 weeks and 2 weeks after the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem, the Messiah. So this can be looked at 2 ways. Either it's 7 weeks until Messiah, followed by 62 weeks, or the 7 and 62 weeks both start going forth of the commandment. It can mean either one, but it's that Messiah shows up after both the 7 weeks and the 62 weeks. Because if Gabriel meant that Messiah would show up after 9 weeks, then he would have simply said that from the commandment to restore until Messiah will be 69 weeks. But he did not say that. He said the commandment until Messiah will be both 7 and 62 weeks. So whether the 7 weeks and 6 weeks are parallel to each other or consecutive, one right after the other, Messiah must show up after both. That's what the text says. Okay, so let's continue. 6. 2 weeks, that's the 62 weeks here. At least 2 weeks.